Jim, in the first place, then, did you sort of seek advice or anything from specialists?
Yeah, I went to see a doctor who was well versed in focal dystonia, had lots of experience of it, and basically diagnosed it, and then referred me to a specialist. But at the same time was referring me to this specialist, he did say that they use Botox injections into the embouchure, and I thought, that's not for me. Absolutely, I'd also researched a lot on the internet and heard about these Botox injections, and that in the vast majority of people, especially with embouchure focal dystonia, it doesn't work. So the thought of putting Botox into my embouchure to stop the muscles from working and from moving, that terrified me, absolutely terrified me.
In the meantime, I got online and started looking for myself, finding out what it was all about, and I listened to your original broadcast. And one day I was on YouTube and I typed focal dystonia onto YouTube, and all these clips came up, trombones, trumpets, violins, from this guy in Madrid. And so I contacted him, and by this time I was pretty much, I hadn't been diagnosed officially by that time, but I was pretty much certain that this is what I actually had. So I organised to spend a week in Madrid.
I was searching the net one day, and I saw there's a website about focal dystonia, and there was this discussion about this guy Joaquin, who says, I've been helping people with this condition for years, and and it's very easy to overcome. And so I thought, well, I've got nothing to lose here. I'll go and see him. If he's a fraud, then he's a fraud. I've lost nothing because I can't play. So it was sort of the last sort of chance for me before I sort of threw the towel in, really. When I first went to see him, I mean, we talked a lot about the condition, how it comes about, and it was actually quite mind blowing what it actually is, and what a simple thing it is, how it comes about, and it all made sense to me as he was talking, and I look back on my experiences with hindsight. It was exactly what I'd gone through. It was exactly the same as what he'd gone through and what countless people have gone through. So after that, I mean, within an hour of being with him, I could play things that I hadn't been able to play for years, and that was quite hard to believe and hard to take on board. That just by talking to somebody about these things and about how it comes about, you can easily fix a problem, which was quite amazing.
The first session, with the sessions, there's a lot of talking and a lot of listening on the patient's behalf, because he needs to make sure that you understand why you've got it, why you've kind of brought it on yourself almost, and how you can you go about changing things around and rehabilitating yourself. So I took my trombone with me, and he asked me to just play something. So I tried a C major scale, bottom C to middle C, and it was as bad as it always had been. He filmed it just from like the nose down, basically, close up from the nose down, and then he went about explaining how basically I was all sufferers. They're very much aware of what they shouldn't be doing, and they try hard to avoid tensing up or avoid this, that and the other, and your focus moves from over a period of time, subconsciously to begin with, from playing freely to trying not to play badly. And it's a very gradual shift, and it can happen over years and years until eventually it starts showing up in your playing, and then you become more and more aware of it. You work harder to fix it. Of course, that's just stoking the flames. So yeah, he just said about an enormous amount of tension. He paused. He played the video back to me, and where I was trying to play a middle F, and he said, looking at that, you'd think you were trying to play a super F, not an F in the stave, because it's just, you know, it was just so much tension, and yeah, the tensions that was there because I was trying too hard to not fail. And a lot of brass tuition talks about the corners, sort of, you know, keep your corners tight, sort out the corners. And he said, forget about the corners. If you tense the corners, it actually opens up the aperture, but the aperture has to be closed in order for it to be opened by the air. And so he said, simply focus on, first of all, he said, before every attempt, make sure you know what you've got to do. Take a deep breath and just blow through the centre of the embouchure, and don't forget about this completely. And so I tried that a couple of times, and within half an hour of the session starting, I was playing open sounding, relaxed Fs, and you know, first position down to fourth, fifth position, just, you know, the instrument was just playing how it should be. It's quite staggering, really. He was emphasising to loosen. That means loosen mentally, so you're not having to say, I've got to do it this way, and loosening physically as well. So you're just simply, you know, almost breathing out through the instrument with no idea. You know, brass players are really conditioned to go to find the note as the end product, but forget about the notes. Even if you make 100 attempts without the note, it's the fact that you're thinking clearly before you've made the attempt, which is the important thing, even if the note doesn't come out. And that's an unbelievably hard thing to actually get your head round. To be honest, even now I still don't think I've got it completely, because the note is a reward for your hard work, and you know, if you're not getting one, then you kind of start to try and get a note, and of course that's that way you're trying again and tensing up and everything else. So yes, loosening physically and mentally, not worrying about whether you create a note or not. And I found that I was creating notes quite easily, and he worked on an F, slowing down to the B flat, and then gradually slowing upwards down the slide, but then slowing upwards to a B flat, up to the D, up to the F. And the last session, I actually slurred from a B flat up to the D above C, top C, with no twitches, no tensing up, no breakup of sound. It was just, I couldn't believe how easily I'd done it, because I'd never played it never felt that easy in all my playing career to play, you know, up there. So it was quite amazing.
That's an important one, isn't it? You say it never felt that good in all your career.
Yeah.
To be able to do that.
Yeah.
So there was something special that's been unlocked there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
It sounds
Yeah.
amazing.